Hey, it's me again, but a few minutes after my last video. If you watched that, you'll know. If you know, you know. But I'm wearing my hoodie right now, my favorite hoodie, because it's getting a bit chilly. And this video will be about me reading for 4 minutes and 44 seconds, because that is my favorite number. 4 is my favorite number and my lucky number. And by reading for 4 minutes and 44 seconds, I hope it will jumpstart my my YouTube career. Yeah. And as per my last video, I said that what was that? I said I am in the process of reading Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. So for the next 4 minutes and 44 seconds, I will be reading this book. Yeah. I am on page 358 right now. As I said on my last video, I am in the process of reading this book, and in this book, the page that I am reading right now consists of a soldier named Wickham and Lydia, the little sister of the main character of this book, the little sister of Elizabeth, the main character of this book. And the soldier Wickham is, you can say, fleeing to get married for some reason. And then the uncle of Elizabeth, named Mr. Gardiner, and the father of Elizabeth, named Mr. Bennet, though separated, is searching for Wickham and Lydia. So let's get into it. I'm going to start the timer. And by the way, this is very heavily inspired by Kai Cenat's secret channel, Kai's Mind, where he just records his life and record him reading, and I want to do that too, you know. So 4 minutes and 44 seconds starts now, baby. Yup. Okay, I will start on page 358. Though her brother and sister were persuaded that there was no real occasion for such a seclusion from the family, they did not attempt to oppose it, for they knew that she had not prudence enough to hold her tongue before the servants, while they waited at table and judged that... Oh, there's a prayer. I gotta be quiet. I am, pausing the timer. And I am pausing this video. I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to continue. Yeah. And we're back. The azan, or the call of prayer, have commenced, and I too have done my prayers of Trisanya, if you know, you know. And now let us continue the reading of the book. I have 4 minutes and 5 seconds of reading to go, and I will continue where I left off in the previous clip. So let's start. Now I'm on page 359. let's do it. And the one whom they could most trust should comprehend all her fears and solicitude on the subject. Okay, in the dining room, they were soon joined by Mary and Kitty, who had been too busily engaged in their separate apartments. Apartments, I think apartments are their rooms. Back in the day, apartments, yeah, to make their appearance before. Okay, one came from her books and the other from her toilet. Okay? The faces of both, however, were tolerably calm. And no change was visible in either, except that the loss of her favorite sister, Lydia. Favorite sister? Hold up. Or the anger which she had herself incurred in the business had given something more of fretfulness than usual to the accents of Kitty. As for Mary, she was mistress enough of herself to whisper to Elizabeth, with a countenance of grave reflection. Soon they were seated at table. So, presumably, Elizabeth came to the dining room table, and then soon followed by Mary and Kitty. One came from reading her book, and one came from the toilet. And then Mary is, what do you call it? Whispering something to Elizabeth. This is what she's whispering to her about. This is the most unfortunate affair, and will probably be much talked of, but we must stem the tide of malice and pour into the wounded bosoms of each other the balm of sisterly consolation. W. Mary Rowe. Nah, I'm gonna outline that though. Yo, W. We must stem the tide of malice and pour into the wounded bosoms of each other, okay? The balm of sisterly consolation. W. Mary Rowe. Then, perceiving in Elizabeth no inclination of replying, she added, unhappy as the event must be for Lydia, we may draw from it this useful lesson, that loss of virtue in a female is irretrievable. Okay? That one false step involves her in endless ruin, that her reputation is no less brittle than it is beautiful, and that she cannot be too much guarded in her behavior towards the underserving of the other sex. Elizabeth lifted up her eyes in amazement, but was too much oppressed to make any reply. Mary, however, continued to console herself with such kind of moral extractions from the evil before them. Bro, Jane Austen. W. author, honestly, bro. In the afternoon, the two elder Miss Bennets were able to be for half an hour by themselves, and Elizabeth instantly availed herself of the opportunity of making any enquiries, which Jane was equally eager to satisfy. After joining in general lamentations over the dreadful sequel of this event, which Elizabeth considered as all but certain, and Miss Bennet could not assert to be wholly impossible, the former continued the subject by saying, tell me all and everything about it, which I have not already heard. Give me farther particulars. What did Colonel Foster say? Had they no apprehension of anything before the elopement took place? They must have seen them together forever, and that's true though. And the timer stops. And I think I'm gonna continue, Loki, until chapter 48. I am in chapter 47 right now, and there is just a few pages until chapter 48, so I'm going to continue. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue. Like I can do what I want, bruh. It's my video. Colonel Forster did own that he had often suspected some partiality. So my boy Colonel Forster suspected like there's something between them, but especially on Lydia's side. So Lydia has something on Wickham, but nothing to give him any alarm. Okay, I am so grieved for him. His behavior was attentive and kind to the utmost. He was coming to us in order to assure us of his concern before he had any idea of their not being gone to Scotland when that apprehension first got abroad. It hastened his journey. Okay, and was Denny who's Denny? What? Convinced that Wickham would not marry? Did he know not? Did he know of their intending to go off? Had Colonel Forster seen Denny himself? Yes, but when questioned by him, Denny denied knowing anything of their plan and would not give his real opinion about it. He did not repeat his persuasion of their not marrying, and from that, I am inclined to hope he might have been misunderstood before. Until Colonel Forster came himself, not one of you entertained a doubt, I suppose, of their being really married? How is it possible that such an idea should enter our brains? It felt a little uneasy, a little fearful of my sister's happiness with him in marriage, because I knew that his conduct had not been always quite right. I'm gonna outline that. I knew that his conduct had not been always quite right. Woo! My father and mother knew nothing of that. They only felt how imprudent a match it must be. Kitty then owned, with a very natural triumph on knowing more than the rest of us, that in Lydia's last letter she had prepared her for such a step. She had known, it seems, of their being in love with each other many weeks. Wow. So Kitty knew, Colonel Forster kinda knew. Wow. But not before they went to Brighton. No, I believe not. And did Colonel Forster appear to think ill of Wickham himself? Does he know his real character? Ooh, Colonel Forster. Like, Brody, you know? I must confess that he did not speak so well of Wickham as he formerly did. He believed him to be imprudent and extravagant, and since this sad affair has taken place, it is said that he left Merton greatly in debt. But I hope this may be false. Okay. Oh, Jane, had we been less secret, had we told what we knew of him, this could not have happened. That's true though, because in the previous pages, in the previous conversation, Elizabeth knew that Wickham, was fake. Wickham was not a good man, and then she told Jane about it. She mentioned that Darcy wrote a letter explaining of Wickham's true character, but because at the time Wickham is still, seen as a gentleman, seen as the soldier who's like, yo, I'm a soldier, it's like a gentleman and stuff, and yeah, because of that, Elizabeth and Jane preferred or chose not to make that information public. But in hindsight, had they made that information public, Lydia and Wickham would not, escaped. Would not run away. I digress. Let's continue. Oh, Jane, had we been less secret, had we told what we knew of him, this could not have happened. Perhaps it would have been better, replied her sister, but to expose the former faults of any person without knowing what their present feelings were seemed unjustifiable. We acted with the best intentions. Okay, that's the mature. See, Jane is 23, I think. 3 of 20. I think Lydia or Kitty said 23, so she's mature, you know what I'm saying? She's an adult. So she's saying that if they had made that information public of Wickham being a not grotesque, like a bad person, basically, it would be not the best. It would be unjustifiable, and that Elizabeth and Jane acted with the best intentions. Fair. We continue. Could Colonel Forster repeat the particulars of Lydia's note to his wife? He brought it with him for us to see, Jane then took it from her pocketbook and gave it to Elizabeth. These were the contents. Okay, this is Lisa's. Wait, Lily. Wait, what? Let's just continue, man. My dear Harry, you will laugh when you know where I am gone, and I cannot help laughing myself at your surprise tomorrow morning. As soon as I am missed, I am going to Gretna Green, and if you cannot guess with who, I shall think you a simpleton. Okay. With who? Am I a simpleton? Yeah. For there is but one man in the world I love. What? What? And he is an angel. I should never be happy without him, so think it no harm to be off. You need not send them word at Longbourn of my going, if you do not like it, for it will make the surprise the greater. When I write to them and sign my name, Lydia Wickham, what a good joke! What a good joke it will be! I can hardly write for laughing. Pray make my excuses to Pratt for not keeping my engagement, and dancing with him tonight. Tell him I hope he will excuse me when he knows all, and tell him I will dance with him at the next ball we meet, with great pleasure. I shall send for my clothes when I get to Longbourn, but I wish you would tell Sally to mend a great slit in my worked muslin gown before they are packed up. Goodbye. Before they are packed up. Goodbye. Give my love to Colonel Forster. I hope you'll drink to our good journey. Your affectionate friend, Lydia Bennet. Wow, Lydia. Wow. And then Elizabeth is reacting to this letter. Oh, thoughtless Lydia, cried Elizabeth, when she had finished it. What a letter is this, to be written at such a moment, but at least it shows that she was serious in the object of her journey, whatever he might afterwards persuade her to. It was not on her side a scheme of infamy. Okay, my poor father, how he must have felt it. Dang! I never saw anyone so shocked he could not speak a word for full 10 minutes. My mother was taken ill immediately. Whoa! And the whole house in such confusion. Oh, Jane, cried Elizabeth, was there a servant belonging to it? Who did not know the whole story before the end of the day? I do not know. I hope there was, but to be guarded at such a time is very difficult. My mother was in hysterics, and though I endeavored to give her every assistance in my power, I am afraid I did not do so much as I might have done. But the horror of what might possibly happen almost took from me my faculties. Okay, so the whole house is like in shambles right now, because Lydia, I think, is their youngest, if I am not mistaken. Their youngest is either Lydia or Kitty, and I think Lydia is the youngest. So the youngest has been taken away. Like, brother. Your attendance upon her has been too much for you. You do not look well. Oh, that I had been with you, you have had every care and anxiety upon yourself. W. So yeah. So if Elizabeth were to be in the house when the letter was read, there would be, I think, better stability within the house. I continue. Mary and Kitty have been very kind and would have shared in every fatigue, I am sure, but I did not think it right for either of them. Kitty is slight and delicate, and Mary studies so much, W. Mary the Loki Nakalai, that her hours of repose should not be broken in on. Okay, a woman that values privacy and values education. W. Mary, Nakalai. My Aunt Phillips came to Longbourn on Tuesday, after my father went away, and was so good as to stay until Thursday with me. She is of great use and comfort to us all, and Lady Lucas has been very kind. She walked here on Wednesday morning to condole with us. W. Lady Lucas. W. Lady Lucas. I don't know. I can say the same about her daughter, Charlotte Lucas, though. I digress. We continue. And offered her services, or any of her daughters, if they could be of use to us. She had better have stayed at home, cried Elizabeth. Perhaps she meant well, but under such a misfortune as this, one cannot see too little of one's neighbours. Assistance is impossible, condolence insufferable. Let them triumph over us at a distance and be satisfied. Do they hate each other or what? She then proceeded to inquire into the measures which her father had intended to pursue while in town for the recovery of his daughter. He meant, I believe, replied Jane, to go to Epsom, the place where they last changed horses, see the postilions, and try if anything could be made out from them. His principal object must be to discover the number of the hackney coach. Hackney? What? Which took them from Clapham. It had come with a fare from London, and as he thought the circumstance of a gentleman and ladies' removing from one carriage into another might be remarked, he meant to make inquiries at Clapham. If he could anyhow discover at what house the coach man had before set down his fare, he determined to make inquiries there, and hoped it might not be impossible to find out the stand and number of the coach. I do not know of any other designs that he had formed, but he was in such a hurry to be gone, and his spirit so greatly discomposed, that I had difficulty in finding out even so much as this. And that is the latter part of chapter 47 from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. W story low-key. And it's a story about, family and stuff. And that's my reading. And I hope if you stay till the end, you're entertained, I guess. I don't know. This is for me, practicing my English, practicing me talking in front of the camera, and practicing really just talking in general. So yeah, I'm gonna see you on the next one, I guess. Peace out, baby.